2, 1. Okay, we've kind of gone through an exercise of just showing you a couple of the tools that are in the inspector's toolbox, and we'll demonstrate many more of those in other videos. If you haven't had a chance to work with them, this is probably more of an advanced class than you should be taking. However, if you have had a chance to work with a lot of them, especially blower doors and manometers, those are your two main tools, then this is probably the class for you. If you don't know how to run a combustion analyzer, I would suggest that you get with somebody and learn. We will have a little bit of a class on one. We're not going to cover it too deeply, I don't think, but I don't know. We may put together a video on running back rack and a testo. Those two we have access to. Okay, so getting back in and finishing up this section, we don't have many more slides to go. Equipment calibration. If we don't calibrate our equipment on a regular basis, then we really can't trust it. We don't know whether it's truly acting the way it should or not. And here's the thing with test equipment. A lot of times it relies on something staying the same. And we expose our test equipment to variations in temperature and variations in humidity and things, bumps, drops, this sort of thing. And age. Bad batteries, good batteries, we really ask a lot of it. And to expect that it's not going to change, that it's going to stay the same, is not realistic. So we need to have our instruments recalibrated on a regular basis. We want to maintain a record of those calibrations and repairs for things like our digital manometers, our combustion analyzers, our gas leak detectors, our carbon monoxide detectors, anything that we're putting our name on that has to do with health and safety. We want a calibration certificate available saying that, yes, this equipment's been looked at by a professional or by the factory. It's been certified to be working correctly. And then it comes down to, did we use it correctly? We want to be able to prove, yes, we have done these things. Okay. We have a lot of different tools to test homes and to guide our work. We need to make sure that we're guiding our work from accurate measurements. Okay. So safety upgrades. We want to replace some things that may be at our agency or may be in our tool arsenal that are, they're not good practice anymore. Aluminum ladders are one of them, except for the telescopic ladder I was talking to you about. We want to use an industrial rated non-conductive fiberglass ladder. This is especially true for crews. These are a little heavier to move and a little more cumbersome to move, but they're much safer if they come in contact with live wires outside. They also tend to be a lot more durable and rated for a heavier duty use than your all aluminum. Extension cords. They should be repaired or replaced on a regular basis based on wear and tear. They are going to get worn out. They are going to get torn up. That should be part of your overhead expense and built into it. Ungrounded power tools. If you have older tools that still use the that do not have a ground on them, have a two-prong, but they don't have the double insulated symbol on them. Very few agencies still have these, but there are some that do. Those need to be replaced with either a double insulated tool or a three-prong grounded tool. Hammers and struck instruments like chisels with mushroom heads, those things need to be replaced. The possibility of a piece of metal flying off of those and damaging an eye is pretty good. So even though everybody is supposed to wear safety glasses, they need to be cared for. They either need to be repaired or replaced. Have that mushroom portion ground off or just replace the tool completely. A real big one, and as a plumber who's done a lot of new and remodel construction, I will tell you that drill bits and saw blades and utility knife blades are not replaced often enough. Utility knife blades, you should have more than you'll ever use on hand, always. And they should be readily accessible. Store extra blades in your knife, change those blades out regularly. Dull drill bits, there's no excuse. A lot of your self-feed bits can be sharpened in the field. They should be dressed before you use them so that they are as sharp as they can be each time you use them. Carry an array of them so that you don't have just one of each size. You have several of each size so that production doesn't stop. Saw blades, Sawzall blades especially, will get worn because most people are running their Sawzall flat out when that's not necessary. It just causes a lot of heat on the blade. There's very few times you want to run a Sawzall flat out. Otherwise, it just dulls a blade. Respirators and safety glasses. You need to be sure that your equipment is in good shape. If you've got scratched up, scarred up, scuffed up safety glasses, change them out. Here is I just happen to have some here on my desk. Now this I've added to it, but this particular brand has replaceable, let's see if I can disconnect this without breaking anything, has replaceable components on it. So the lens itself can be replaced independent of the temple pieces and for less money. The temple pieces can be replaced. I can buy a different type of temple piece, and they're also adjustable. These are very good for wearing over regular glasses, and they're adjustable so that the angle of my, let me turn that so you can see that. There's 3 positions here. You can see that the temple changes. So if your ears are kind of high compared to your nose, you may want it all the way up. If they're kind of low compared to your nose, you may want it all the way down. It also depends on the condition of your glasses. If they don't sit square to your face, you may have to adjust everything a little bit. But a good pair of safety glasses are worth the time and effort. Okay, so let me sum this section up for you. The tools that we go through in this lesson are really just, they represent the majority of what you should consider essential for going out into the field and inspecting a home, especially on a completed house. There are more tools that you will need. However, if you get one of each of everything that we've shown you, you're in really good shape to start doing what you need to do. Scheduled tool and equipment maintenance avoids downtime and lost production. If you are routinely working on a schedule to replace ladders and move them over to a less critical area, move them from maybe the production crews where they're getting a lot of wear and tear after 2 or 3 years to the auditors and inspectors where they're not going to get as much wear and tear. That may be a good thing. The other thing is maybe selling them after 2, 3, 4 years. It all depends on how quickly your agency is going through those. If you have a lot of crews in the field and they're really hard on ladders, you may need to purchase quite a number of them at a time to keep enough in stock to be able to replace a broken ladder at a moment's notice. Because downtime, when you've got 3 or 4 people sitting out in the field unable to do what they need to do because of a broken ladder gets really cheap at that point. Even at $500, that's a cheap ladder when you compare that to the $2,500 lost on that day, possibly. As always, follow your manufacturer's recommendations for either routine care or maintenance of your equipment. Make sure that you're getting it calibrated on schedule. Make sure that you're using it the way the manufacturer wants you to. I know a lot of us think we know more than the manufacturer does, and I'm not going to argue that point. What I am going to tell you, though, is if there's ever a question as to whether the tool was used correctly or not, the manufacturer's opinion is always going to win out. So try and use it the way the manufacturer says to use it. That's my recommendation to you. And then here's my other one. Don't get caught off get caught without spare batteries. Make sure you have plenty of spares and buy a good brand of battery. We have had a rash, I'm not going to tell you the brand, but we have had really bad luck with one particular brand of battery leaking all the time. I can't tell you how many pieces of equipment we have had have been exposed to leaking batteries because of the battery manufacturer. I'm pretty sure it's their fault. I'm going to blame them in any case. So we appreciate you going through this section, and I look forward to talking to you in the next one.